Good evening, everyone, and brought to you by Hooded Life and Find a Game. It's the Melbourne Metro Recap Show. So tonight we are joined by Todd Simmons from Lord knows where you are this week.
I'm at
And
home
on
again.
his phone, because his computer's knackered, it's Moonee Valley Skip Dylan Fisher. Good evening, boys.
Hello.
G'day, Clarky. Thanks for having me, mate.
No, glad to have you on, mate. So just to let everybody know, the chat is open, so feel free to chat on Facebook or YouTube. I had a few chats from a few people chatting in from YouTube last week, and if you've got any questions for the boys, feel free to chuck it in the chat. Put QA at the start of it, and I'll know to get everyone going. So, yeah, just a quick one before I start. Toddy, you know what's coming. Apologies to all members and supporters of Elwood, Elstonwick, Brighton Club. I got a bit of a drubbing over during the week from Craig Dunstan, the president at Elwood, Elstonwick, Brighton, who said he thought I was taking the piss, which I have not been. I just got a shocking memory. So I have actually gone and memorised that and won't be mucking that up again. So there we go, gents. How's your week been, gentlemen?
Go, Zell.
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Yeah, obviously another loss on the weekend just gone. Wasn't ideal for the Valley, but we look forward to next week and just happened to be playing against Toddy and Clayton next Saturday, so that'll be interesting.
Oh, see,
Yes.
I hadn't looked at that. So
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, because, no, we don't want opponents coming in the same week. Should just talk about the same game, and that's boring. Now, Toddy,
Yes.
where did you end up playing on the weekend?
Well, I couldn't play on Friday night.
No,
so,
I know, due to family commitments.
So I played on Saturday.
And how did we go?
We didn't finish the game due to heat.
Oh, well,
So we didn't play the last three ends. So that's my out.
So that's your out.
Yeah.
So
I was
you're
going to get 3 2s on the last three ends to get over the line. Had it all planned, and then the temperature got to 36 and got called off.
Dylan, now you're an avid viewer of the show, and you know the amount of crap Toddy talks. Is that a reasonable excuse for going down again?
Look, it's fair enough. I wish he could do it again this Saturday so he didn't have to play against us, but I'm sure he'll be turning up to the Valley, chomping at the bit and ready to play some good bowls. But no, I think by the sounds of that in his voice, he knew he was going to lose on last Saturday in the twos.
Toddy?
Yeah. No, we won overall. It's all about the team, mate. I'm not about the individual rink, you know. We won by planning. So, you know, I don't know what you're going on about.
Toddy?
Yeah.
Be better.
Yeah.
There you go.
Fair enough. Actually, why are you getting stuck into me, Clarky? I've got one for you too.
Oh, no, what?
Yeah. Where did you play Pennant last Tuesday?
Are we looking at Tuesday's results, are we?
No, not results. No, I'm just asking, where did you play?
Where did I play? Oh, somebody snuck this one in.
Where did you play?
Has somebody been talking to you over the internet? We played at home.
And how long did it take? You don't live far from the club. How long
I
did it
live
take you to
5
get to
minutes
the
down
game?
the road. It took me an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah, just tell everyone about that one, eh?
Well, we were playing Hillsville at what I thought was Hillsville. So I got up, left nice and early, drove all the way to Hillsville, which is a good 45 minute drive. Got there and went, there's no Croydon people here. So I sat in the car park, pulled the fixture up and went, I'm at home. Quickly made the phone call and said, I'll be there right on time. And yes, got an absolute...
Clarky?
Got an
Be
absolute...
better.
Yeah. Yes, I got an absolute drubbing for that one, and it continued on Saturday. So
I'm not going to reveal my source, but thank you to those people out there that are sending in the information.
yeah, yes, I heard there were going to be a few people getting hold of you and just mentioning that to you, and so it would embarrass the crap out of me on the show, which it has. So we all make mistakes and we move on. So anyway, thanks for asking, Toddy. Went well on Saturday, another win.
Oh, very good.
Just we have a slight problem during our games, we tend to drop shots in the last 2 or 3 ends. So end up getting up by 8, but with 3 ends to go, we're generally up by 12, 13, 14. I think on the weekend we dropped 7 on the last 3 ends.
That's not good.
No. So I don't know how to rectify that one. You guys got any advice? Because it's happening week in, week out.
Get closer in the last few ends. So I think Dylan. Oh, you there, Dylan?
I don't know if he is. He's disappeared from my screen. I'll check the control. No, he'll be back in a minute, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So
no, sometimes it's just the concentration thing. Sometimes it can be hydration. Sometimes people take the foot off the gas because they're, 15 in front or whatever it might be.
I think that's what it might be.
One person, the leader, plays a bad bowl or two and, it just sort of snowballs.
Yeah. No, I think it is. I think we've been ahead by a fair few. And I know 2 weeks before that we were chasing shots because the overall looked a bit shaky. So we started chasing shots to lift the overall and ended up dropping 7 in 2 ends or something because I was trying to put bowls into the ditch and all sorts of strange and wonderful things. But shit happens.
That's it.
Dylan's gone again. He's back in and out. We'll work it out. He's doing a U trick. Righto. Thank you to everyone who gave us feedback during the week in terms of the show and what we should be doing and what we shouldn't be doing. So we've taken some of that on board, and we have a new segment called Controversy Corner.
That bloke said? Yeah, I read about that. How shocking.
Oh, you can't say that.
Righto, boys. Up this week, the heat policy. Are we all happy with it? Does it all fall in line? See, Todd, and not being rude, what division did you play on Saturday?
2.
2. Okay. What time did you start?
10:30-ish.
10:30 and you still got called off?
Yeah, well, I was the only... one rink had 1 end to go.
Yep.
And I had 3 ends to go. And we were 2/3 of the way through the, 19th end. Yep. When the temperature hit 36 degrees. We came off for an hour and it got down to 36 and about 1 hour and 1 minute or like give or take.
35.
Because, the timing is every 8 minutes or 10 minutes, but it's delayed. So when we came off, an hour later, it was still at temp, like still over 36. But then when the timing came through for that temperature, it was under. So our game got called off because I was the only rink left going that the rink could adjust. I could change from winning or losing. So then they just called the game off, whereas all the other teams that were at home went back out and continued to play.
Righto.
By like about 1 minute or so in terms of timing. It was
Snapper,
weird,
what do you think? Are you happy with the heat policy?
Yeah, well, it probably hasn't directed me personally too much in the last few years. I remember way back when we used to have a lot more issues with some extreme summers, but the last couple of seasons, I can't recall it having too much effect on Premier League. So I can't comment too much on it, but I don't think there's too much wrong with it. I can see people's point of view on if the game's going to be scheduled to start earlier. That can have huge implications because, a lot of people have got other things on Saturday morning. So just to drop everything and then have to start bowls a bit earlier, I can see that being a bit of an issue for a lot of people. But I think the rules in regards to when it hits a certain temperature and you've got to come off for a certain amount of time, all of that falls under the duty of care of Bowls Victoria have to provide to everyone. And I think there's no issues with it.
Would you guys like to see, and it's something I've seen because I'm back to playing Division 3. I know there are a few people. We started early as well. We started at 11, but there are a few of the older generations getting a bit hot and bothered by the end of it. Should Bowls Vic potentially be looking at for Div 3 and under, Div 4 and under, changing it to 34?
Well, I think it should be more along the lines of not the actual temperature, but the feels like temperature.
Yep.
Because sometimes you play and it's stinking hot and it's not near the temperature, and other times it's over and it's like it's not that bad. You could be like last week we played at Altona and it was warm, but there was there was a little bit of breeze and it wasn't that hot. It felt way hotter Saturday just gone for us than it did the week before because of our location.
And I think it was the humidity was. I don't know the stats. I should have looked at it, but yeah, I think the humidity was higher on Saturday.
So that's probably my only thing is maybe it should be based upon the feels like temperature, not the actual temperature. But I don't know how accurate that is either.
So I think from Div 4 down, we are talking about an older demographic though too.
Yeah, I get that.
And should we be looking at potentially taking more care of the older demographic, and then therefore, if somebody's bowling in Div 2 and starts to go, well, look, 36 is going to be way too hot for me, make the call early on that individual and say, well, look, play down in Div 4. We'll bring someone up for the week.
Yeah.
Snapper?
It definitely meriting something along the lines of that.
Snapper, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I say if you lower the temperature a couple of degrees, like I sort of agree with what Todd's saying, like a 33-degree day and they still have to play. If you change it to 34, can still feel, really bloody hot and unbearable for that sort of demographic. So I'm not sure that that's the answer. I don't really have an answer for you right now, but yeah, it's definitely something that needs to be revisited. There's a lot of commentary behind it at the moment. So, it's tipped to be a pretty extreme summer. So potential it could happen in the next few weeks, that's for sure.
I think
Go on, Toddy. It also has, I guess, more weight because you're only playing 14 rounds now. So if you miss one game and you might be playing, if you're a middle of the road team and you're playing the team that's maybe on the bottom, that's a big negative for your season, as opposed to hypothetically if you were playing the top team, all of a sudden that becomes a bonus. So it can, with only 14 games, a heat-out rule can make a big difference.
Yeah, I think the other point is going to be, and look, I think it's going to affect everyone. If we're copping 36 degrees in the middle of November, what the hell's December, January, February going to be like?
Yeah.
They've already predicted it's going to be a stinking hot summer, so I think we're going to lose more than one game anyway. Now, I know, look, you guys are all over it, and it's another beef with me that side managers should be up on all these rules.
100%. Yeah. They need to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need to know them.
Side managers, controlling bodies, everybody, side managers, I think the umpires are generally all over conditions of play. Because I ran into a problem 2 years ago. I knew the rules. We walked off at 36 degrees. 10 minutes later, it dropped to 35.2, and everyone around me was saying, no, we've got to wait an hour. And it's like, no, conditions of play say the minute you come off, that's fine, but then the minute it drops under 36, you're back on immediately.
Yeah.
So I think everybody needs to make sure through any of these events, hot, cold, lightning, that the side managers and controlling bodies are all over this stuff. And I think just to mention, Bowls Vic, I've got Johnny Roberts doing a blog every couple of weeks, and he did a really good one during the week on this very thing. And it highlighted to me, I didn't know, but the lightning rules actually changed this year.
So with that 1 hour break, let's just say you come off at, we'll say 2 o'clock. And you go back on at 2:45. So you've been off for 45 minutes. Then it goes back over 36 degrees. You come back off again. Do you only allowed to be off for 15 minutes and then the game's abandoned, or it's another 1 hour?
The 1 hour starts again.
Right, but your game has to be finished within a certain amount of time from the start.
Same with rain. The minute you come off, your 1 hour starts. The minute you go back on, and if you've got to come off again, the 1 hour restarts.
Okay.
All right.
So it was only one, because I read the conditions and it wasn't all that clear.
Yeah.
For that one.
I've spoken to Johnny Roberts, and he has explained it in the conditions of play webinar that, yes, the 1 hour restarts Hot,
Every
cold,
time. Yeah.
rain, doesn't matter. The only time it's a definite time is the lightning rule, which they've changed slightly this year for the better, because it used to be if you saw lightning, you're off for half an hour, and the half an hour is mandatory. Doesn't matter. They've changed it this year to if you see lightning and there's thunder within 30 seconds, then you've got to get off.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because there's some clubs that can, like Baronia, can see lightning in Melbourne, and it doesn't mean there's any danger anywhere close. It's, well, there's lightning in the sky, let's get off. And they've changed it this year to say, right, if the lightning and thunder is within 30 seconds, then you've got to get off.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
Yes. So, again, I encourage everyone to look at the Lawman blog on Bowls Vic. Very good. Johnny Roberts is top bloke. He's answered a few phone calls from me. So, all right, you lot, on to Premier League.
All righty. So, Bandura Altona. We'll start with that one. Bandura 78 defeated Altona 72. And they're all, I guess, relatively close games. I mean, there's 5, 6, 7, and 1 in it. So, it looks as though there wasn't much in it for most of the day. And good win by Bandura at home, and 16 points is always a great win. Do we got anything for that one?
Yeah, they're two teams that are just outside the 4 at the moment. Both a little bit up and down so far this season, but both very capable on their day. So that was an important game and an important win for Bandura. But by the looks of the scores, definitely a competitive game, which I'm not surprised about because most of the Premier League games are this season, and that a very handy 16 points for Bundy indeed.
Yes. And it brought Bandura pretty much level with Altona on the ladder, I think, give or take a point or two.
Yeah, they had that last bowl loss against Yarraville, which hurt them a little bit, but they've bounced back from that. Yeah.
And then we've got Melbourne and Deer Park, which again, another relatively close game, only 6-shot win to Deer Park, 14-4. And there was a big win here by Lee Strainer, who won by 18, which, that's always going to be hard to cover.
Handy.
Yeah. That was a good win by Deer Park, and they're just sort of rolling on now and doing well, and I think they're sitting on top of the ladder at the present time.
Yeah, they're going pretty well again. We played them round 1, and I think it was probably not a bad time to play them with a few new players in the team, and they were probably trying to figure out combinations. But it seems now they're off and rolling, and definitely the team to beat again. And the rest of us in the competition have to lift ourselves to try and get to their level because they're setting the standard once again.
Yeah, for sure. And then we'll go to the Clayton Yarraville game. This is the Friday night live stream game. I'm not sure how many people out there watched it, but it was Clayton come back. We were well down, or not well down, maybe 10, 12, something along the lines of that, down, and then we came back, and unfortunately we just didn't quite get over the line at the end. And, I guess, unfortunately for us, the last bowl didn't go to plan, and, we turned theirs in, but that's what happens. You've got to go for the win. And as we say, we win and lose as a team, and unfortunately that wasn't our night. And I guess it probably sums up our season a little bit as to how we've been going, and things just haven't quite been going right. And, we got the 3 rinks, but unfortunately couldn't get the chocolates.
So, Toddy, quick question for you.
Yeah.
We're nearly halfway through the season. Does Clayton hit the panic button yet and start swapping things around, big changes or little tweaks here and there? What's the attitude down at Clayton at the moment?
We just got to all play that little bit better. And it's not as though we're playing terrible and getting belted. Like, we had one bad game against Melbourne. I think Deer Park beat us by, I think it was 14 or something along the lines of that. So other than that, we've been pretty close. Bandura, there was nothing in it. And then, obviously we could have won that one. So we could easily be on 3 wins, but we're not. And that's just how it goes. We could have lost to Essendon too, but we snuck over the line.
Yep.
Hopefully we get a win this week. We've got a few of our fly-ins playing, and Shannon McElroy's playing for us as well. So we've got a relatively strong team this week. So hopefully, we need a win. Put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it only takes. But in 2 weeks, hypothetically, we win the next 2 games or 3 games. All of a sudden, we're 1 game out of the 4 or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's not as though it's over. But if we lose the next, say, 3 or 4, then it's trouble time.
Yeah. No, I was just interested to see whether you'd be swapping things around, changing different things, or whether it's just a.
There's a little bit, but it's not like big changes. Yeah. And then then we've got the Essendon Moonee Valley. So Essendon got over the line by 10, and I'll let you take over, Dill.
Yeah, Friday night at Essendon was a very warm evening, and it was a good atmosphere. Actually, they got the better of us early. Definitely handled their home green a lot better than what we did. They jumped on it, and we were scratching away a bit. They got about 30 in front and were leading all rinks. And then the sun set and the green changed a little bit, and we were able to, find our feet a little bit better, start getting a lot more bowls in there. And a few of our skips played some big conversions in the Nelson brothers and Nathan Lynch to make a few big numbers. And anyone that's played against Moonee Valley knows that we tend to celebrate those moments with a lot of passion and energy, and that sort of just kicked us into gear a little bit. So we were able to cut that lead all the way down to 3 shots with, about 10 ends to play. So that was really pleasing to show that fight and get ourselves back in the game. But also at the same time, Essendon had done a lot of damage early, and we were forever chasing our tail through that game. And, towards the end, they played a couple of big bowls to get them over the line, and 2 rinks up, 2 rinks down. Unfortunately, my rink was the bigger losing rink that never really looks likely all night against Anthony Flapper's rink. But, disappointing loss, but also quite proud of the boys for, never giving up. And anyone that was there that night and watched the game, the second half of the game was, it was pretty fun to be involved with. There was some awesome moments with some big bowls, and, something we can take away into next week.
Now some have said, Dill, that Moonee Valley carry on a bit too much. They wahoo a bit too much. What's your response to that?
They carry on like idiots.
Yeah, look, from an outsider looking in, it's that I think you really enjoy the noise and the energy and what we bring to the competition. Or it's, you have that opinion that, we carry on a bit too much and it's a bit over the top. So it depends which way you look at it. From my point of view, this is my 3rd season at the Valley, and I'm really enjoying it there. A lot of the guys I've been mates with for a long time. And, they've been trying to get me there for quite a while. And obviously my loyalties had been, at Clayton and especially playing with Todd and family for a long time. So I guess, making the move there, is a new challenge and something, I was really looking forward to. And we were lucky enough to go from that Division 1 scene all the way up to Premier League last year. So I guess to answer your question, I love it, and I encourage the noise and energy that we bring to the bowls green. I think it brings the best out of all of us because we're quite a young team. We're all competitors, sportsmen. We love, playing bowls and having fun together, and it's encouraged from our club and within the 4 walls. So I'm not really too worried if other people think, it's a bit too much and we carry on. I'm a firm believer it brings the best out of us, and, we're a pretty dangerous team when we're in that space. So that's how I see it.
Mate, I'm the same. I've got no problem with it. Again, I think it brings excitement to the game, and it revs. I know it revs me up. No end.
Yeah, from an opposition point of view, like if people are going to get offended or worried about the amount of noise they're making, then I don't see you're not ready to be playing at that level. If you can be put off that easily by a team making some noise, and like they have fun, they get up and about, but they don't get personal. They're not mean or nasty or Well, maybe this weekend, but you know what I mean? It's all in good fun, and they're out there having fun and having a crack. So it's like, good on them and go for it.
Dane Boots and Scotty Elliott are right behind it. They're saying, yeah, keep doing it.
Yeah, look, it's a really fair point you raised. You know, we try not to cross that line into disrespect or, you know, over the top arrogance or, you know, personal attacks on the opposition. Like we go really hard on the green and we leave no stone unturned. But as soon as that game finishes, win, lose or draw, you have a beer with your opponent and you have a good laugh, and that's what we're really trying to. We're really big on that. As soon as the game's done, you get on with it. It's just a game of bowls.
So, Dill, I was going to ask you before about, you know, your couple of years at Moonee Valley, but you sort of answered that anyways. But tell me, or tell the listeners a little bit about the work you had. I can't remember the guy's name that came in and did that work with you guys. I think it was 12 months ago, wasn't it? After you won the Division 1 for the Premier League season. Is that right? Yeah,
that's right. So we were lucky enough, the president of our of Moonee Valley, Dean Pounding, his childhood school friend, Andy, is a sports psychologist, and he's currently doing work with the Manly Sea Eagles and the boxer Tim Zhu. So he does a lot of big corporate stuff as well. So
fairly handy.
Dino was Dino got onto Andy and said, "Hey, can you come down and speak to my boys about you know, some tips, I guess, about the psychology of bowls." Well, not really. The psychology of sport, because Andy doesn't know anything about bowls, of course. He specialises in other areas, but what he was able to teach us, you can apply to anything in any sport or anything in life, really. So the reason for him getting involved with the Valley was, you know, anyone that knows Moonee Valley Bowls Club, they've been in contention for Division 1 for quite a long time and always had quite a strong team that's, you know, been knocking on the door but hasn't been able to take that next step. So that the theory was trying to, I guess, make us think a little bit differently in those high pressure finals type situations to help get us over the line and take that next big leap into Premier League. And, you know, obviously a little bit of recruitment and a few things that changed down there, but with the help of those little 1%ers as well, they all contributed to us winning the flag a couple of years ago. There's absolutely no doubt about it. So it's been a fun journey. Our first year in Premier League last year, it's always a tough ask. If you go back through the history of any teams getting promoted to Premier League, more often than not, they struggle. And we were able to go through the season, 11 wins, 3 losses, and make it all the way to the grand final and lose to Deer Park. So we're super proud of that effort. And, yeah, we're trying to replicate that this season.
Sounds good. That always helps. Bit of psychology.
Yeah.
Might be a good idea, Clarky, if we could find that YouTube video or whatever it was on, Dylan, and put it on the chat for people to have a look at, because it was really interesting. Yeah, there's a couple of small snippets of what went on, and they also made a podcast as well that goes for about an hour, just talking about the whole journey, which is really cool. It's something that, you know, it doesn't get spoken much about in bowls, but, you know, the way the sport's headed and the changes that are happening, I think it's something that needs to be spoken more about.
At the end of the day, bowls is still a sport. And that's
it, yeah.
That's why I like it. I played basketball for 30 years, got out of it, tore me adductor, and then sat at home whinging and moaning, and the missus said, get out and do something. So I did, and I just found it again, just competitive. It's sport. It's competitive. It doesn't matter. Footy, cricket, basketball, bowls, it's still pretty much along the same plane that everyone wants to win. And if you can get a 1% advantage over your opponent, it's a big advantage.
Absolutely. Bowls is a very mental game as well. You can get yourself into some pretty interesting places upstairs, but you need to be able to bring yourself back down to a good level.
All right, looking at the Premier League ladder. Here we go. I got the graphics back. Go on, Toddy. You can go through it.
Yeah, got Deer Park on 78 points. Yarraville Footscray on 76. Essendon 59. Moonee Valley 56, making up the top 4. We've got Altona 50. Melbourne 44. Bundoora 43. And Clayton at 26. See, we're going bad, but we're only 17 points off Bundoora and 18 off Melbourne. Yeah. So
that's only a win and a half.
Yeah, that's right.
So Moonee Valley lost 2, lost their last 2.
Yeah.
Snapper.
Yeah.
Let's try and make that 3, hey?
Snapper.
Yeah.
Snapper, you're going to cop it.
Yeah, look, hasn't been our best couple of performances the last few weeks. We've had 2 away games and unfortunately got off to 2 really poor starts. And anyone that knows anything about away games, it's crucial to be in the game early and not chasing your tail. So, yeah, we're disappointed with the last 2 weeks. Credit to the opposition who have played really good bowls. And we're hoping to bounce back at home this Saturday against the Cobras.
Mate,
I must say, I think Premier League is such an even competition. You know, from the top to say the bottom, there's not a big difference, and there's no easy or even easier games these days.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I think, if you go into a game a little bit off or, taking a little bit easy or whatever you'd like to call it, you're going to get crucified.
Yeah.
Especially with, fewer teams in Premier League, it's more, it's definitely more even. Every team is capable of beating any team on the day. There's no doubt about that.
All right, you two. Didn't you read the comments during the week enough of Premier League?
Well, it hasn't been that long. We were talking about other stuff.
Yeah, we were. Dylan, all I can say, be better, mate. Be better. That's 21-12, mate. That's
Next week, not this weekend, the following weekend.
We hate losing, and I'm more keen for Saturday than ever.
No, I'm just talking about you, mate. Be better. You're the leader in your rink. Be better.
Yeah, mate. I take it pretty personally when we lose. So I'm keen to bounce back.
Toddy, be better this week.
Yeah. Well, I'm playing third this week, so it's good. Someone else can get it.
They've given you the arse. I wonder if it's going to happen at Moonee Valley.
What?
Well, Dylan Fisher's lost 2 on the trot. You reckon he should be moved? There should be talks about moves, shouldn't there? Surely. Selectors have got a big decision this week. Yeah.
Might just throw a spanner in the works. Who knows?
Yeah. Righto. Now, thanks to our proud sponsors at Hooded Life, we have a special offer this week especially for Melbourne Metro Recap viewers. Now, if you or your club places an order this week for 100 towels, you will get another 50 for free. That's 150 for the price of 100. That's exactly. $6 a towel. And I'll tell you what, these towels are shit hot. Love them. Do you know how many I hand out of these, Toddy? Heaps.
Lots.
I know. And people walk around, they are awesome towels. They're almost microfiber-ish, aren't they? Well, they are microfiber.
Yeah.
So
they are a microfiber, yeah.
They are good cloths. Mooney Valley just got theirs, and we're loving them. They are good cloths. I'll give you that, Todd.
Thank you.
They are. So this week, for the next 7 days, until basically next week's show, if your club puts in an order for 100, they will get 150. So it's well worth it. Speak to the people.
Long as they say that they listen to the show.
Well, they wouldn't know about it if they didn't listen to the show.
Yeah, that's all right.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And they come pretty quick too.
Yeah, how long? What's the turnaround?
3 to 4 weeks.
Well, there you go.
Any design you like, just let me know what you need, and we'll get them created for you.
Good on you, Toddy. Good towels.
Worries.
I like Toddy's gear, as you can see. It is good gear. Righto, Prem Reserve now.
Yes. This is becoming a very interesting section. Should we put the ladder up while we go through it?
We'll put the ladder up nice and early for this because you can whip through the results. But look at this ladder.
Yeah,
there are 16 points between first and eighth. 16. That's a win.
In 2 weeks, you could literally go from top to bottom or bottom to top, just about.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
last week's results, we got Port Melbourne 4. Defeated by Dandenong at Port Melbourne. So, that's Dandenong's 3rd win, but probably would have thought Port Melbourne would have got over the line at home, but they didn't. And then there's probably one rink lost by, or a couple of rinks lost by nearly double figures. So that sort of hurt Port Melbourne there. Now, when I go back to the other game, Dill, you know much about Port? You guys are, I'm going to say, pretty close in terms of location and close as a club, I suppose, Port and you guys?
Yeah, we are, yeah. So obviously an ex-long-serving member of Moonee Valley, Matthew Renix, is the coach there at Port. So, yeah, we have a fair bit to do with them. And get along really well with them, and they've recruited quite well actually, from winning Div 1 flag last year up into Prem Reserve. So they got off to a really good start to the season, but just the last couple of weeks, couple of losses. But yeah, look, to be honest, I'm not surprised that they're in the mix and the whole competition is pretty even, because you look at all the sides on paper and you think, yeah, they're all capable on their day, and it's much similar to Premier League. They're all really good sides. I think I'm a big fan of the Prem Reserve that Bowls Victoria have introduced. I think it's a really good competition. Yes, Division 1 has suffered because of it, but that was unavoidable, I think.
But it makes everything more even.
Yeah.
100%. Prem Reserve are all having good games. Division 1's not having the huge blowouts like they used to have with we'll say these 8 teams in there destroying some teams.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well,
I think it's a really good comp.
I think it's testament too that now Division 1 sides are actually recruiting Prem Reserve players and saying, hey, well, look, Div 1's not much different to Prem Reserve. Why don't you come down here and help us get into Prem Reserve and go from there? I think all 3 divisions, Prem Reserve and Div 1, and especially the better sides in Div 1, there's not a lot of difference between the 3.
No, I think it's a good structure at the moment.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Div 1 was the same for such a long time, with the same teams in the same sections, similar finals, same teams going up to Premier League, but then straight back down. Now you make a competition with all those strong teams, and there's no wonder that it's really even and it's thriving. So, yeah, that was a really good move.
Yeah. And now we move on to the Whittlesea Heathmont game, which after Whittlesea's big win last week against MCC, this was a bit of a surprise for me.
Especially
Whittlesea 71, Heathmont 85, 18 points to 0 win by Heathmont.
Once again, Heathmont have got a lot of really solid players that probably don't get spoken about that much. But definitely at Whittlesea, that is a surprise, especially for all 4 rinks. But having played at Whittlesea last couple of Sundays, their green's running quite nice. It's a tiffy, same as Heathmont, so maybe they were able to adapt to that, pretty quickly, and so that could have been a factor.
Because I know Heathmont's green's been running really, really well. So, again, like you said, Dylan, I didn't think it was going to be that much of a home ground advantage with Heathmont going there. Similar greens, similar speeds.
Yeah.
And then the third game, we've got Fitzroy 83 and 15 points over MCC with a 23-shot win, which 23 is a big win. There was one rink that won by 20, which is always going to make it hard.
That's 2 on the trot for MCC. That's 2 on the trot for MCC that they've dropped.
Yeah.
Again, you lose 2 games in a row, you're going to know about it.
That was obviously at Fitzroy. I believe they lost their previous home game, which they wouldn't have been too happy about. So I'm not surprised that bounced back at home there.
Yeah. And then Lilydale defeated Flemken. Flemken defeated Lilydale 14-4 at Lilydale.
Only 4 shots in it too.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, whereas Lilydale have been doing right at home, I think, from memory.
Well, generally, it's a pretty tough. It's a really tough place to play on. It's that outdoor carpet that runs it. I don't know. I haven't timed it, but it'd be running 19 seconds.
Yeah, it's not slow. Yeah.
Oh, no, it's 19 seconds and up. So it's again tough place to go to and knock them over there.
Yeah, and I think Flemken are grass, aren't they, Dill? Do you know? Oh,
no.
Dylan, you there? No, he's gone. He's having a snooze.
You can't hear us. He's having a snooze.
Yeah,
here he goes.
I've lost Todd, but I can hear you, Clarky. So
righto. No,
I'm just trying to stay quiet.
He was just saying, what's is Flemington Kensington grass?
No, they've got a Sandfield old synthetic that is a bit tricky. I think I've actually never played there, but just from all reports with the barefoot bowlers there and the age of it, it's quite tricky to play on.
Yeah.
So that could help in terms of them playing on the green at Lilydale, playing on the quicker green. So
yeah, could. But
alrighty, so let's go back to the ladder.
Yeah, if we look at that, 3 out of the 4 were away wins.
Yeah.
You go dropping your home games again. We said that at the start of the season. Yeah. So here's the ladder.
So yeah, I mean you got Lilydale 58, Dandenong 57, MCC, Fitzroy, Port Melbourne all on 56. Flemken 54, Heathmont 53. There's 5 points between, top and 7th.
And
It's pretty crazy, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then, that's only one game, and that's easy to make up in, this week they have a win and all of a sudden they're in the 4.
Well, again, I think this is where shots may start to come into play. You look at third, fourth, fifth. It's now down to shot differential.
Maybe for one position at the end of the year, but rarely the shots come into it.
No, we'll see. We'll see.
We will.
Yes.
We'll
see. Ah, there we go. Dylan's dropped out. Thought he might. No, he's back. Is he in or out? I don't know.
Yeah. All righty. So that's it for Prem Reserve.
That's it for Prem Reserve. He's back. You can hear everyone now, Dill?
Yeah, I'm back.
Oh, there we go. Good.
Just like this Saturday.
You two just aren't going to stop, are you?
Well, we could tell the story about the game last season if we'd like.
No, I've already told that on here.
Oh, have you?
Yeah. See, if you had been listening, you would know.
Okay, yeah. Well, Oh, well.
All right. Yeah. All right, everyone. We'll go to a quick break and we'll be back in a minute or so.
Hi, I'm Matt from Find a Game. Ever organised a tournament and you get this scenario?
Hi, this is Dave. I was wanting to enter your tournament on the 25th of September. Please call me back.
Yeah, hi Dave. This is Todd. Please call me back so I can get your details for our tournament on the 25th of September.
That back and forth happens time and time again while taking entries. While you're doing all of that, you're plugging names and details into spreadsheets. You then have to hope they turn up on the day, and when they do, you have to organise all of the entry money. How many hours total do you spend doing all of that? Find a Game is the solution to all of those worries. The only thing you need to do is enter the tournament details and how much each entry is. With our revolutionary website, players can search for and find your tournament, enter their details, and pay up front. You receive emails for each entry and can manage all the entries online. You can even send an email out to all participants. Just before the tournament starts, you will receive all of the entry money straight into your bank account. It couldn't be any easier. Contact us today and we can send you all the information you require to start saving many hours organising tournaments. Oh, we can also list all of your social bowls events as well. Find a Game, the new revolution in lawn bowls events.
All right, everyone, when we're back, thanks to Find a Game. All right, boys. Now, you're probably not going to know a lot about Div 1, but I'll quickly go through some of the results. Now, I know some people have made comment about trying to highlight Div 1 a bit more, but it's a very difficult proposition when there's so many teams across so many sections, and we don't get reports from anybody really. And I keep trying to sort of say to people on the show and try to say on the show, hey, send reports in. I'll whip up if I've still got it here. I do.
Yeah, the more information they give us, the more we can talk about.
The more we can talk about. Because, again, all we can go off is what's on Bowls Link. But I do spend 40 minutes or so going through results and who's won what and who's doing what and what rink and things like that. So I do. It's not like I just whip through and read the results off the web. I do sort of study up on what happened last week, etc., etc. So we will start with Section 1. Yarraville Footscray defeated Glenroy 82-75, 13-5. Yarraville are on a bit of a roll after knocking off Brunswick last week. Takes them to 3-3. Cooper Westcombe, Matthew Rangan haven't lost a game. Now, I reckon what they've done, they've swapped these two around because Matthew Rangan's a lead, and I think he was leading for Coops for the first 4 or 5 games, and then all of a sudden he split out. But they're still both of them are still winning. So again, maybe they've swapped it round to just even the side out a bit. Now we've got Brunswick 68. Lost at home to Deer Park, 86, all rinks up. After starting at 4-0, Brunswick have lost the last 2.
Yeah, and that's a big loss at home. And they've got some really experienced players in their team, Brunswick.
That's what I'm saying. Brunswick have been absolutely flying. And
Clarky, only the best teams have lost the last 2. It's just the trend.
Jesus, there we go. He's just got to bite in with everything, doesn't he?
Yeah. He'll talk common sense in a minute.
You can come on every week. biting like that.
I was very surprised when I watched that. Saw that Brunswick result. I speak to Chopper Corliss and JR a little bit, and yeah, they were going really well at the start of the season. But as it can happen, a couple of bad weeks in a row, it just happens sometimes.
That's right. No, look, happens to all of us. 2 weeks does not maketh a bad season. Righto, Sunbury got up over Aberfeldy by 61 shots, but we don't need to go into that. Sunbury was at home. The only thing there, Taffy Smith's rink is one of the unbeaten rinks in the league, and they're winning by an average of 8.5. So I don't think they'd be changing much there, Sunbury.
Hey?
Hey?
Taffy plays for Deer Park.
Did you say you've done some research here or what?
Has done for quite a while too.
Neil Smith, Taffy, doesn't play for Sunbury. He plays for Deer Park.
Oh, right. Oh, see, I've just written it down in the wrong spot. That's all. No, I'll put my comments in the wrong spot. That's all. All right.
Oh, right.
Come on. Hey. Yeah. Righto, Melton 70 got defeated by Kingsbury 76. So Kingsbury have had the last two against Aberfeldy and Melton, so it's not really a form guide, but hey, 2 wins is 2 wins. So,
it's interesting. It's interesting. Melton, though, I had tipped them to be going a little bit better at this stage of the season, but yeah, they might have just not quite got it together yet because they've got a pretty solid side.
Yeah, I don't know enough about them. I'm going to try and get.
Well, lots of good teams have only won one for the year.
Hopefully, it stays that way for one more week.
Boys, we've won 5. So anyway. So yeah, again, I'll try and get Lily Dodd on, who was last year a Victorian representative. She's taken the year off for year 12, but she said she's happy to come on and have a quick chat about Melton and what's going on there. So if we look at the ladder, righto, there we go. So Glenroy on 4 and 2, 77 points. Deer Park on 76. Brunswick on 70. Club Sunbury on 66, Kingsbury on 60, Yarraville Footscray on 52. So without getting stuck into Melton and Aberfeldy, unfortunately, they're in the position.
The others are all very close.
That's what I was going to say. The top 6, there's 1.5 games in it. So and that's why I said, hey, Brunswick dropped 2 on the trot. You don't want to be doing that too often, or otherwise you'll find yourself outside the 4 and in a bit of strife.
Yeah.
Especially that top 4, there's only 11 points in it. So, just got to be careful with the games you win and lose.
And it's so much more important now, as I said before, with only 14 games. When you had 18, you could afford to maybe drop 1 or 2 that you probably shouldn't, and you can get away with it. Yep. But now it's so cutthroat now with 14.
Yeah, see, two of those games were won away. But Deer Park, Brunswick again should have won that game at home, but did not, and that's not taking away from Deer Park. But that's where, and we talked about at the start of the season, didn't we, Toddy? That home games are so important. Yeah,
for sure.
Righto, moving on to Section 2. Beaumaris got defeated by Middle Park 74-72. Middle Park nearly dropped their first game. So, and Beaumaris are no bums either. They're right up in the top 4. So, Middle Park again, unbeaten, as we'll see.
So that's where some information would be great. Like, was it all square on the last end? Were Middle Park 5 up going into the last end?
Yeah.
And comfortably just, allowed them to get a 3 and covered. Yeah, so if someone can send in information like that, it helps us.
Yeah, again, I'll leave my email address up there for a little while so people can feel free to jot it down. And
I'm sure a couple of the Middle Park boys would love to get involved. They're usually all over it, so I'm sure they'll jump on board.
I'm sure. Okay, yeah, I'm getting some questions in last, but I'll get to them. With Prem B, Matty Weeks said to us all the Heathmont wins have been away from home. Just for Prem Reserve.
Yeah, they beat MCC away, and then obviously Whittlesea now, and it's interesting.
Interesting. Don't know why they can't win at home, because they should know their greens, and it's Heathmont's a little tricky to play on. I've played on it twice this season already, so.
I was going to say maybe it's too easy.
Well, at least I know where Heathmont is as opposed to Hillsville. I should say Croydon. So, yeah, with that Middle Park, Nathan Zeno just continues to win. This week he was up by 11. He's winning by an average of 14.5. So if he keeps doing that, Middle Park are going to be hard to knock over. So, right on the next one, Blackburn got defeated by Moorabbin, 80-73 with 4 rinks up. So Blackburn 2-2 have dropped 2 at home, which takes them to 2-4. So again, don't lose ones at home, and they've lost 2 on the trot at home, so that hurts. Moorabbin have won 2 on the trot away from home. So
they're all pretty lopsided. Rinks, 9 shots, 11 shots, 10 shots, 5 shots.
Yeah. So, Moorabbin are starting to hit their stride right at the nice part of the season. Again, if you can get a roll on before Christmas, because how many games we got left before Christmas?
3.
3?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So if you get a roll on now, it puts you in good stead coming into the last bit. Because it's always hard, first week coming back, it's always hard to get a rhythm going. So, righto, Melbourne 76, defeated Bentley 68, 3 rinks up there. So, now after Melbourne got smacked last week, they've bounced back to sit just outside the 4. Unfortunately, Bentley just can't get over the line. Again, I say it every week. Hopefully they get a win soon. Just to give them some spirit lifting type of thing. Maybe they don't have the sports psychologist down there just to have a chat to him.
It'll cost them.
Yeah, I'm sure. Righto, and Richmond Union 56 got defeated by Elwood, Elstonwick, Brighton Club 97, all rinks up there. Again, I think in this division, Richmond Union and Bentley are going to be the ones. Well, they have been struggling, but they're going to continue to be the ones that are struggling. So, and as I said, we know what's happened to Richmond Union, which is a shame. But not much you can do sort of mid-season. So if we get on to the ladder here, for Section 2, we've got Middle Park, of course, on top. Miles out in front. So they've well and truly got two and a bit games in hand. Moorabbin, Beaumaris, Elwood, Elstonwick, Brighton, right there. So, again, out of those top 3, if you take Middle Park out, there's only, 5 points in it. So, again, just if you get a roll on with 3 games to go, it puts you in a good spot. Then we've got Melbourne and Blackburn, 5th and 6th. And then, like I said, unfortunately, Richmond Union and Bentley bringing up the rear there. So, again, it'd be nice if Richmond Union and Bentley could get a few games going and just get a bit more competitive, because I'm sure, like everyone, they don't like getting their, not backsides kicked every week, but they don't like losing every week. So, righto, on to my section, Section 3. Well, it's not my section. I don't play in it, but, my team plays in Croydon. So, Yarra Glen.
You're working on it.
I'm working on it. Yarra Glen 82 were defeated by Bundoora 84. Now, I did ask Benny Simmons for some info, but I did ask him late. The Friday night game out at Yarra Glen. So I wanted to...
You'll know something about this one, won't you?
Yeah, I found out a little bit of information about that today. 5 up last stand, Yarra Glen after having led all night with quite a comfortable lead as well, in control for all of the game, and Bundoora were able to make a late rally and get within 5 last stand, and unfortunately Benny Simmons' rink played a poor end and only had 1 bowl in there, and the opposing skip for Bundoora was able to land it out and 7 shots for the win.
Ooh.
Absolutely unheard of.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, unheard of. It's crazy. There's actually a video on it, I think Bundoora's page.
Oh,
right.
Yeah, so
Jeez,
it was
you can't,
I think they would have got a bit excited.
Well, and rightly so. How often does something like that happen?
Yeah,
not a 7.
5 down last stand at that sort of level, you're thinking you need a miracle, and it pretty much was.
Yeah.
Now, interesting concept. Oh, right. Matty O'Brien's just said Benny Simmons is putting on a clinic at Heathmont. So that's why he didn't get back to me. But I'm sure I wouldn't have got that news. He wouldn't have been too happy about passing that on. Now, interesting.
Yeah.
They played on a Friday night, started at 7:30. Now, to me, that's a
Was
good
it that
concept.
late, are you sure?
7:30, I'm pretty sure it started. 7 o'clock. Matty O, can you let us know? Because I reckon
It would have been 7 o'clock.
Oh, 7 o'clock. But again, it's not a twilight game. That's a dead set night game.
Yeah, we started at 7 o'clock at Essendon as well. Just gives everyone a chance to finish work, freshen up. Fly-ins coming in.
Yep.
We had Dutchie coming from Bendigo. He's got to drive all the way down. I don't have too much issues with the 7 o'clock start, to be honest.
Can't be any earlier during the week. I mean, what about traffic? Look at Yarraville had to play us. Yarraville had to play Clayton.
Yep.
At 7 o'clock start.
Well,
imagine trying to start at 6.
Well, I think though that's for a Division 1 game. I think that's a huge effort from Bundoora to come across all the way out to Yarra Glen. It's not a
How
small.
far is the drive?
It's not that far over the hill. We can just go straight over the back way. That's not a bad drive, Bundy to Yarra Glen.
No,
I would have guessed half an hour, but I don't know.
No, do I.
Maybe a touch further, probably 40, but it's not too bad of a drive.
Now, one interesting fact, Yarra Glen actually got hold of me during the week, and it was late in the week that we tried to organise this quickly. Asked me to live stream it. And Toddy, we know we've spoken about this in the past about why I can't live stream, but other people can. But again, I will put this out to clubs because, again, I don't live stream for free, but it is a reasonable fee to live stream on a Friday night. If you're thinking about live streaming, and it's something we thought about during the week, have a chat to your sponsors and see if you can raise some money that way, because as a streaming service, I'm more than happy to put a bit of grunt behind helping the local sponsors out on the live feed. So if you are interested in doing something like that on a Friday night, or as Yarra Glen did a couple of weeks ago, Yarra Glen Mitcham did a twilight game on a Saturday, which I'm sure they would have had to get Bowles Vic approval for, because you've got to get your results in by 6, don't you, on a Saturday?
I think you've just got to let them know that you're doing it, not so much the approval.
Oh, righto. So, again, that's always an option for other clubs. Saturday nights, why not?
I like the 4 o'clock start or something like that, because then all your club members get back and they get to watch the last hour and a half or whatever, 2 hours of the game.
Make streaming a little difficult, though.
Yeah, it does, but it's not about streaming here. I'm talking about playing for clubs and, clubs generating money.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That Saturday twilights are a big tick, especially for little clubs like us. We're playing Deer Park at home in 2 weeks' time, Saturday twilight. And we did it a couple of times last year. It worked really well. We got a little acoustic singer live on Greenside. You know, that nice time of the day, 5, 6 o'clock. Everyone's coming home from their Pennant game. A few drinks, barbecue going. It just works really well.
Yeah, I think Yarraville had a band as well. So, yeah, good little concept. And again, if you can organise a twilight game with 2 local clubs, and you've got people coming over from 2 clubs to have a look.
Totally.
And you don't, Snapper, you will know, if you start at 4, you don't necessarily need lights, do you?
No, not really in the daylight savings at the moment. You're finishing right on that sort of time, and it is starting to get dark. But yeah. So,
all right. Moving on. Whittlesea 76 defeated by Mitcham 82. Unch wanted to pass on that he was better this week after he copped it last week, so he did better. He had a big win there, 25-13.
Oh, you carried the team.
No, I wouldn't. Well, hang on.
Well, he won by 12.
And one of my mates, Andrew Cullen's rink went down to Daniel Carroll by 8. So there's your margin. So, again, when you got one rink winner by 12 and another rink going down by 8, we know what the margin's going to be. So, Kelsey, if you're watching, be better, mate. Be better. Vermont South defeated by Croydon 91-55. Good win there by Croydon, but again, Vermont South, one of those clubs that are just struggling to get a win on the board. So, and Laylaw defeated Murrelbach 84-76 at home. 2 rinks up by 7 and 8, then 1 rink up by Mooroolbark by 8. But there's your margin. You have 2 rinks up by that many and not a lot coming back. There's your margin of 8. So moving on to the ladder in Section 3. Once again, it's pretty close. The top, 4 or 5, it's pretty close. Whittlesea not far behind all of that. Unfortunately, Mooroolbark and Vermont, again, struggling. But again,
it's very similar to Section 2, the ladder, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. And they've got some big hitters. This section, we sort of called it the section of death at the start of the year because you got some big, heavy hitters in there. I think Mitcham defeated Laylaw, and then Mitcham got defeated by... Who went into Prem Reserve? I can't remember. But again...
Essendon?
Yes.
Oh, no.
No, not
you mean
Essendon.
2 years ago or this year?
Yeah, no, last year.
Port Melbourne.
Yes, it was Port. So, again, this is a big, heavy-hitting sort of section. So,
I think that top 5 will stay pretty similar. It's just a matter of what order.
Yeah,
what order. I can gather from that section.
Yep, exactly right. But yeah, because Laylaw are doing well, but they're not unbeatable, that's for sure. So, Section 4 to round out Division 1. Keysborough got defeated by Cranbourne 76-52. Good news for Keysborough there, because again, we've spoken about how they're struggling. But Dave Rickaby's rink is 3 wins, 2 draws and a loss. And he's up by an average of 6.5. So he's sort of keeping them there or thereabouts. But it's the other sort of 3 rinks that are struggling. But we knew they would at the start of the season. Mentone Edge just keep rolling along. Won again, 74. Defeated Parkdale, 50. So they haven't lost a game at 6-0, and they're winning by an average of 16 points and 23 shots per game. So
they're cruising.
They are cruising, and I think next week they've got Narre Warren, who are down the lower half of the ladder, so they could very well be 7-0 by the halfway mark, which you don't see too often.
Nope.
At all. So
good to see Mentone doing well after a tough few years. So good on them.
I wouldn't know, but yeah, they had a few tough years, mate.
Lots of people have left.
You'd only have to go back 5 years ago, and they were a contender in Premier League. So
yep, right.
Yeah.
Fair bit changed since then.
Yep.
Players wise, and a few tough years, and yeah, it's good to see a few of the ones that have been there this whole time stick fat, and yeah, them doing well again.
Good. Righto, Cheltenham 79 defeated Narre Warren 73, so pretty close game there. Good win at home to Cheltenham. So whoever was winning this game was going to go to 3-3. So now, can someone from Cheltenham? I've seen this bloke's name a couple of times. There's a Stephen Milne who plays for Cheltenham. Now, I'm just wondering if it's Stevie Milne who played for St Kilda, because I know he used to live around there.
No, it's not.
It's not? Okay, you're shaking your head.
No.
That's all right.
I know. I know Steve. He's been bowling for a long time.
Oh, righto. Because I just knew Stevie Milne lived in sort of the Cheltenham Hampton area back in his playing days. So.
Oh, you mean the one that? Oh, well, maybe it's. I'm not sure, but.
Okay.
How old would that person be?
Stevie Milne. I reckon. Well, I'm 50, and he was 3 or 4 years older than me, so 54,
I would imagine
55.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure, but
okay.
Yeah.
You're not a big football fan, Toddy?
Well, yes, but you mean Stephen Milner played for St Kilda in the AFL?
Yes.
Oh no, it's not him.
No, it's not him.
I can't see him playing bowls.
It's not him. No.
Be an interesting character if he did play bowls, I tell you.
No, he'd be a menace.
He would be a menace.
Hey, you're fitting good in your team, Dill.
Yeah, well, it's about time you come back at me, so fair enough.
Hey, is your game televised on Friday night or not?
No, we're Saturday.
Oh, bugger. Jeez, it would have been a crack.
Clayton don't like that many Friday night games, so yeah, they were never going to say yes.
We'd have to leave at 2:30.
Come. just get a helicopter or something, you know.
Well, you could pay for it for us.
No.
Moorabbin Airport to Essendon Airport. That worked all right.
From what I was told, Toddy Simmons gets paid well enough, so he should be able to afford it. Righto, Pakenham 70.
What to play Div 2.
Yeah. Very well to play Div 2. Pakenham 74 got defeated by Mulgrave 81. Now, after losing at home last week, Mulgrave bounced back for an away win against Packy. Now they're both going 4-2, so we will go to the ladder and have a look. This is actually, apart from Mentone, it's a pretty close section. So we know Mentone's on top, absolutely flying. They're 30 points out, which is
it's nearly three games, really.
That's nearly 3 games.
You make up 10 points a game on average.
Yeah.
So they're going to lose 3 games.
Yeah.
Out of there's only 9 to go.
Yeah, which we can't.
8 to go.
8 to go, so we can't really see them.
Yeah.
Especially the way they're going. They've knocked off pretty much all the teams now, so
yeah,
you know, you can probably see them at best losing another 2 games from here.
Yeah.
But you got Pakenham, Mulgrave, Cheltenham, Cranbourne, all within 10 points of each other. Narry Warren, a win and a half behind. And as we knew at the start of the season, Keesey and Parkdale struggling. So maybe we'll see how they go in the second half of the season. So, boys, that's about it. We've probably gone 10 minutes over time, but that's fine.
Any questions?
Any questions? Let me go through and have a quick look.
Questions, queries, doubtful points.
Well, there's a lot of crap hanging, as you can imagine. So it's just a matter of trying to find... Right, somebody was saying if you play at an indoor venue, then the heat rule is the same. Plus, how much club in the area play and 3 don't? Righto. Okay, so it's all around weather stations and what's the rule on indoor venues. I can answer this one. So, because I read the conditions of play properly before I started. Fully encased greens are not susceptible to this rule because it doesn't matter. It can be stinking hot. It can be, but I don't believe indoor. I'm thinking about the lightning rule. It shows how stupid I am. Don't know about indoor then.
I think that makes sense. If it's fully enclosed, then it shouldn't apply.
It shouldn't. But
As
then,
opposed to a lot of them now are just those undercovers, which I could see you could make a case either way.
oh yeah, well undercovers, and again I was
We've
thinking.
still got the same kind of heat.
Yeah, I was thinking the lightning rule because undercovers are the same as outside anyway. Because again, a lot of the undercovers aren't, for example, covered up completely. I know,
but we've only got one, don't we, in Victoria or Melbourne, and that's Brighton. Nothing else is fully enclosed that I
think
know
Deer Park's in the works. I think theirs is going to be the next one. I think.
I didn't think it was fully enclosed, but maybe.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Yeah.
Does Dandenong count as enclosed?
No,
it's only got one side.
Yeah, but
you could lift the roller door, and you got 2 sides.
Then you got 2 sides. I know. That's
it was fully enclosed.
It was damn hot grand final day this year. I'll tell you that. We probably shouldn't have started when we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, here's a good point. How does this heat rule apply if it's a final? If it's a broadcast final?
Well, we got delayed 2 hours in the Premier League grand final because of the heat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it meant to start at 4 o'clock. It was a Sunday arvo. It was a 40-degree day.
Yep.
And they changed it to 6 o'clock, but it was still bloody hot.
Bloody hot, yeah.
At Dandenong, it's one of those facilities. If it's been cold for a few days there, you go there, it is freezing. Or if it's been hot for a few days, it's still like it retains the heat.
Yeah, because the heat gets stuck up inside it.
It does, 100%.
That's where Dandenong's one of those funny ones. Is it fully enclosed or is it not? Yes, it's not.
It's got one full side open.
Yeah, but okay, if there's lightning, for example, do you count that as fully enclosed because there's no green anywhere near?
No.
Like
if you got a few meters.
I reckon if you guys saw the Bowls Premier League a couple of weeks ago at Pine Rivers, it's a similar undercover but patches that are open, and they came off 2 nights in a row for Lightning. So I'm going to assume that's the same.
Yep.
Because it's all big metal poles.
Oh, yeah, that's true in itself, yeah.
Like it's, it was timber maybe, but
I'm a bit, yeah, won't go into that. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in again. Hopefully, there we go. Yeah, Clarkey summed it up for me. Oh, righto. Here's another question for Todd.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, hang on. I'll get this up. Give me a second. Hang on. Where is it?
Hey, did you
Here we
read about
go.
what that bloke said? Yeah, I read about that. How shocking.
Here's the lead in,
You
Tommy.
can't say
Toddy.
that.
Controversy corner again. Matty O'Brien wants to know, is Toddy looking forward to playing Saturday, Sunday again in January when Premier League goes to Geelong?
I don't think I'll be playing, Matty.
No.
I don't know if I can play both days. So I don't know if I can play in a couple more Friday nights either when we play Melbourne on the Friday night. That's still to be determined. So, and if I am playing both days, no, I'm not looking forward to it, Matty. Do you want any more clearer?
Unlike Twisty to be stirring up shit.
No, that's all right.
All
I'll see
right,
him
everybody.
on Saturday.
Yeah, I know. Well, you will see him, so you can get into him on Saturday about that.
Nah, it's all good.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Dylan, for coming on. I'm sure we'll have you on again now that we know your phone works and everything else. Toddy, good to see you at home.
No worries.
Have a lovely clash, you two, and I'm sure I'll hear about it on Monday night again.
All good.
Hey,
See you
actually,
guys.
if Toddy goes down again, do I swap him out for Dylan? You want to come on and Toddy gets the arse for the week, or?
I'm happy with that. Doesn't bother me.
No, I'm looking forward to a week off. Just anyway. All right, guys. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. See you next